Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Gamer2maker Game Career podcast. And today is, I know that I say this every single time, but today we have a really special guest. And today with us is Josh, Joshua Jebadurai. So, Josh and we go way back.
So we met in
2010.
VFS, and then we started working. 2009, we started working in Gameloft.
Yeah. So we were at VFS. I was in GD 12 and Josh was GD 13. And we were like the only two brown dudes in our batch. We were like, Indian guy. He was like, Indian guy. and that was great. And then we finished our thing and we came back to India, and I was at Gameloft, and I called Josh and I'm like, Josh, like, you want to work and stuff? He's like, yeah, totally, dude, why not? So I'm like, come over. I recommended him for a job at Gameloft, and then we were both at Gameloft, but there wasn't any work at Gameloft. Like, we got hired, but there was no work to do. And we were like, okay, we managed to install Steam, and we would play Left 4 Dead, and we would just work on our own game project. Remember Shanghai Jimmy?
Yeah,
Right?
I can't believe you're like actually mentioning that name.
I know.
It's sort of like a close thing.
And then, anyway, life happened. I went away. Josh went away, and here we are. So now, at this point, Josh is the CTO, and if those of you don't know, Chief Technical Officer of Hammerplay Studios, which is an independent game studio in Chennai. And these guys are doing amazing things. So what I'm going to do is, in the link of this video, I'm going to actually put a link to Hammerplay Studios, and I'm also going to put a link to Josh's LinkedIn profile. And as a matter of fact, at this point, Hammerplay is actually hiring. So, boom, shoot your resume off. You don't know. All right. So today is going to be interesting, to say the least, because we are going to be talking about crypto gaming. Firstly, what is it? People are talking about it. People are throwing money at it. What is an NFT? What is a crypto game? What is it like as a developer? What is it like as a company? What is it like as a player? Can you actually make money from it? And what the heck is play to earn? We've seen free to play, and now people are talking about play to earn. Is it really a thing? Also, if you watch till the very end, and it's not going to be in the end, it's going to be somewhere before that. So don't just like fast forward till the end. Josh is going to give you like a crazy insider tip as to how you can get a job in the game industry. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. So let's go. So Josh,
Start with blockchaining.
yes, what is blockchain? Take it away. Tell us about all this stuff.
So I think for most of you that were still confused about what is cryptocurrency, what is blockchaining, I'm not here to sell any coin trading app at this point, but I'll tell you some one-on-one stuff. You can do a Google search, and on YouTube, there are plenty of people who has already explained what is blockchaining and stuff. But here's a quick rundown on what is actually blockchaining and what is cryptocurrency and what is NFT, right? So for starters, if you guys have already torrented before, that means you would have already have this idea of distributed servers, right? So in general cases, for example, if you take any country for this matter, most of the time in India, there's RBI, right? Reserve Bank of India, who's there maintaining all the ledgers of each and every currency that they print. So if you take a 10 rupee note or a 20 rupees note, it is just paper, right? The actual value of that paper would be, say, 50 paisa or even less than that. But the thing is, it has a serial value and a pin that's actually tied back to the server, right? Which denotes and says this value is actually 20 bucks. And with this 20 bucks, you can buy something else. So that is basically called as a token, right? So this is a token that you sort of exchange. So you go to
every note is essentially a token, a unique. There is no other. It's unique, and it has value.
Yep. You can make a Xerox copy of it, right? But doesn't mean that that has a 20 rupees value, right? You made a photocopy of a 20 rupees value. But essentially, if you go and sell it and show it in the shop, you probably get arrested for it,
Right.
for counterfeit. But so that's basically NFT, right? That's non-fungible tokens. We'll come to the word fungible later on. But so we know that all this data has been stored inside a server maintained by the RBI. But the only problem is it's all centralized. These servers cost money, and bunch of people are invested in. Government is maintaining so much money to maintain the server. They have to make it secure and all of this stuff. So essentially, everything is centralized, right? So this is where the concept of Web3 comes into place. That means everything is distributed. So we have already seen this, and this tech is not something new that popped out of anywhere. This has been there since 1998.
Mhm.
And I think the first guys who started this was Napster, P2P.
Right.
It's peer-to-peer, right? So you send a file from one computer to another without having a server in between. And this concept was pushed further by a company called BitTorrent. So what they
Right.
essentially did is, if you have that file, in most cases that file would be a movie or a song, right? So if you have that file, and what they'll end up doing is only share one chunk of that file with the other guys, and that other guys, once downloaded that file, they can share it with the other guys. So essentially what you're doing is taking a bit of that file from everyone and then assembling it together in one computer and then having that movie file. So but the only downside here is the guys who actually provide the full file are called seeders, and the guys who sort of provide while they're downloading are called leechers, right? So if you guys already been familiar with torrenting or downloading stuff, not illegally, legally, I mean, who does that, right? And so you would have already been familiar with these terms. So that's basically what this entire thing happens. So instead of, say, RBI maintains the entire lecture, the database is split among all of those files, and they have crypted files to verify that this is the part of this database, right? So
Right.
distributed, that's why it's called blockchaining. So each of them are in different blocks, and these blocks are being chained together. So that
Block
and chain,
chain.
yep. So you understand the concept of distributed thing, right? So the other question is, where it could be your computer, it could be a phone, right? It could be literally anything that can probably do a computation. So you could ask, like, who's ready to or willing to give their computers for maintaining some other's database,
Right.
right?
Just a quick segue. So we're talking about when it exists, right? How is it generated? Like how does it come into existence? Who creates it?
See, that's exactly like the internet. You can't ask, like, when did the internet start to exist, right? So what they basically did is hooked up a bunch of computers, and that network is called the internet,
So when
right?
they say crypto mining, what does
Yes.
that mean?
So we'll finish the cryptocurrency part, and then
Okay.
we'll see what is actually crypto mining, right?
Right.
So what essentially happens is, so now they come to the cryptocurrency part where they say, so you have a virtual currency. So all of you would have already been familiar with any in-game currencies, right? So all of you. So if you pick up Subway Surfers, you pick Temple Run or anything, right? You win there, and then you get some coins, and with that coins you buy something of inside.
Well, like
So you
you
guys
can
are
buy
already familiar with that
skins or
concept.
like boosts or
So
whatever. Lives.
we could call this virtual currency, right? So they wanted to bring the same concept in the real world. They say, let's create a currency that goes across borders, right? So the first guys who got very famous for doing this was Bitcoin, as you always guys all know. So the only thing is, people need to accept that this is a currency, and we will also pitch in by providing something back again inside, right? So this is where the acceptance of the currency is very important, because it's just like you going and starting a country by yourself. Say you find an island who nobody is there, and then say, I'm going to create a society here, and this is my currency. right? And as long as the other countries accept your currency, it only means something within your island, right? So that's essentially what's happening right now. So Bitcoin and the Ethereum currency that's been there are sort of creating that entire notion of this currency can be stable, and this is a much more secure platform. So that's what they probably sell when they start up, right? So that's cryptocurrency for that
So
matter.
would it be fair to call cryptocurrency basically internet currency,
Yes, it's virtual currencies. So
right?
we can call that. But there are some countries and there are some European units or payment gateways. That's the critical key that you guys need to know. Payment gateways are where you go and use those virtual currencies and buy something real back again from the real world, right?
Right.
So
So,
that's
so
where the actual trade happens.
so one question. So right now, like I can go into say Axie Infinity and I can get a digital wallet, and can I buy Ethereum for rupees or dollars? Can I do that?
That's the thing. That here in India, you can't. So directly you can't buy or go and say this much Ethereum I have. Can you change it
No,
for
the other
INR?
way. I want Ethereum. I have
Yeah,
rupees
yeah,
or have
that is
dollars,
completely allowed. So
right?
yeah, from real currency to virtual currency is usually easy.
Yeah,
But the other way around is where you need a gateway that accepts those virtual currencies.
right.
So I'm not sure how many guys are already aware,
Yeah,
but
because I've seen all these YouTube videos in which there are like 100 YouTube channels how to get rich by
exactly.
playing these games, and I'm like, okay, rich on the internet, but not really rich in this world at this point, at
Yeah.
least. Yeah,
So if you're like a 90s kid who've been growing up with the internet for the first time, all of you would have probably fell for the ad, click on it and win an iPhone or an iPod, right? So that's sort of essential thing that's sort of happening. This entire thing is new. So when it's new and people are trying to understand what is it actually about, there are going to be scamsters left and right and center, right? So in a regard, if you guys are going to invest on any of this stuff, make sure you're very well informed on what you're doing and check what currency is actually going behind. So
yeah.
coming back to the question
And
that you
don't
asked,
invest your rent and lunch money right
exactly.
now,
Yeah,
right? Like invest the other stuff, like keep that, and then yeah.
yeah. So coming back to the crypto mining stuff, the question that you asked, right? So now that you have cryptocurrency, now you have blockchaining, which is a network of computers that maintain the ledger of each of these currencies. What you can end up doing or earn those virtual currencies is provide your computer to solve some algorithm problems for maintaining those ledgers, right? If you do that, you earn some bitcoins or ethereum or whatever virtual currencies for yourself. So in that way, both of the parties are benefited, right? So you provide your computer. So that's why this entire craze of crypto mining came to be. So
Yeah,
they
because
want,
there's this. I was watching this. I don't know if it was on Facebook. This dude that set up this entire place in the desert.
yep,
It's like this whole dome. It's solar powered, like a million batteries, and he's the crypto king. And he's just like he's crypto mining. It's this
yep.
crazy video which I saw. So that's a thing, I guess.
Yes. So in a way, you guys can, if you have an extra PC or an extra graphics card that you can sort of lying there, and you can keep it as a mining machine. You would probably earn a bit of tokens. I mean, that's the easiest investment you could probably do.
So, but then
Uh,
you'll be. How much internet do you use for that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you have to also consider the overheads. And so I'm saying that, okay, I have already excess internet. So for example, I have 1 TB connection, but I hardly use 200 GB of data, right? So if you have more to spare, why not? So I mean, that's a very good place to start if you're wanting to get inside cryptocurrency. I wouldn't personally do it, but I don't know. People are having brilliant ideas these days, right? So anyway, so that's what crypto mining is. So cryptocurrency is sort of sorted out, and blockchaining. So if you guys have already been with us this far, and I think we can get to the interesting part. at least where it concerns gamers.
Yeah.
And so that's NFT. So like we're talking about, right? So this is a token that indicates this is the value that's been tied to the paper, and that's there. So when you say non-fungible, right, that means it's also virtual.
Fungible reminds me of fungus. Like,
Yes.
it's like no fungus. Like this is a
Yeah.
token in which no fungus grows. That's
So it's damp money, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So an NFT could be any digital asset that you have. So this is where we gamers already thrive, and this market has been there in the gamer space for all this time. And
Right.
cryptocurrency is just a new name that's been tied to it, a new currency tied to it. If you guys are already familiar with Counter-Strike or Steam market, this trading has been happening for quite a while. For example, a Steam releases a gun or a skin that's limited for, say, 10 numbers, right? And one of them buys it, and then for $20, assuming that's $20, and he buys it. The rest of the guys are not willing to sell it. So this guy comes in and says, "You can buy the skin from me for $100." And Steam takes a cut and he sells this one. So a sort of trade and economy is already happening, even with the real world stuff or the virtual. So what they wanted to do is treat the same way, but tie it to a cryptocurrency, right? So this is where piggybacking currencies come into play, right? So you can't directly deal with Ethereum. So what they'll do is make a subversion of a currency, call it anything that they want, probably. So I think, for example, can you come up with a fancy name for a tokens?
Josh Coin.
Yes, okay, Josh coin. So I just go there and create something called Josh coins, and I say 10,000 coins is the equivalent value of this much Ethereum, right?
Right.
So I create a sub economy based on an existing stable cryptocurrency that's been already happening. So on an overall, not everything about cryptocurrency is stable so far. It's one of the most fluctuating market spaces you can ever be. So you might also ask the question, why so many big companies are already investing on it. I think Zynga has wanted to jump inside this and empty thing. So just like anything else, right? When web first came, everybody wanted to buy domains, right? So there's
Yep.
one guy who bought all the domains from all the way to AAA to all the way to ZZZ. So he must have bought all of them for, say, $200 each. But so abc.com comes in, or fox.com comes in. So these are big companies. They're like, "Can I get this domain from you, guy?" And he's like,
That'll be $1
$1
million.
Yep. So this guy instantly became a millionaire because he knew what he was doing. So that's exactly what people are expecting to happen in Web3. So that's why you have this crazy hype happening all over the place. So people don't know what the actually know. So if somebody comes and says, "Piss, dude, in 90s, one guy got so rich. If you trust me, give me your real money. I will put it in tokens. I'll make you rich instantly."
Because here's the thing. Already, especially in India, like gaming is kind of like hot, right? Because I'm in this course, and I'm doing this management course with a bunch of people, and I'm the only gaming guy. People are like from automobile engineering, etc. And they're like, "Okay, you're the gaming guy. Gaming is hot, right?" They don't know anything about it, but they're like, "Gaming is hot," and they're like, "You want money? I'll give you money. Like, you want investment?" And then now, if you combine gaming with crypto, it just blows. People are like, dude, here's my money. Just take it. Just take my money. Just give me whatever it is, but just take my money. It's crazy right now.
Yeah. So that's what's actually happening right now. That's why investors are going crazy, because what ended up happening was, when Bitcoin originally came, right, everybody ridiculed it, to be honest. So everything, this is not going anywhere. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin had a hit, and a lot of actual people got millionaires because of that. And now everybody is like interested. So they're like, "Oh my God, something big is going to happen. We didn't notice it now." So it's the reverse of what's happening right now is happening. So since they discarded it, they feel like we are going to miss out on something. So they're already throwing the money. And that's why the scammers and everything happens. So that being said and done, that's none of our concern, right? We are gamers. by the end of the day, and we are game developers. So we have to understand the situation, take calculated risk when in at any given time, right? So market comes, jargons come and go. So if you are like already here 4 or 5 years back, everybody thought VR is the biggest thing that's going to ever happen in the industry. And as you can see right now, VR is sort of still trying to pick up, but it's not the projection that it was shown 4 years back, right? So every app company would say we are also developing VR because
Yes,
we
like
are.
VR every year it's supposed to be the thing, the thing.
Yes.
And every year it's like, oh, it's gonna be this year, it's gonna be this year, it's gonna be this year. And it doesn't happen. So it's
I mean, it can happen, but I think we can discuss that on a different note and why. And it would probably be a case study on how the market, where it's been incredibly overhyped, can sort of hurt you in the long run, right? So anyway, so right now we are in that space that everybody's going to talk about NFTs. Some guy is taking selfies and selling it as NFTs, and like he's becoming a millionaire. So everybody wants to know what an NFT is and want to get inside it. So basically, you need sort of platform. So you already have a cryptocurrency, you already have blockchain. So what ends up happening is this is where everybody is trying to start their own platform, just like Steam. So in order to do that, they need games to be inside. So starting a Steam without games means nothing. They have just computers and powerful servers. That's all, right? As long as people go and put games inside or license the games inside,
because
doesn't mean
just
anything.
trying to understand the economy of it. Because okay, here's the thing: you have a game, people are gonna players are gonna come and say, oh, cool game, I want to play this game. They're gonna come in for free. Now this is essentially, we are talking about play to earn, which is a thing now. Play to earn is a new thing. And it basically, so people come into your game, play, say, oh, cool game, I want to play this game, etc. Come inside, and then they start playing for free. And then at some point, with real money, with rupees or dollars, they buy stuff in your game. Like in Axie Infinity, you have to buy an Axie, which is basically your little,
Their own currency,
their being, which you fight with, right? So you pay real money to get an Axie, which is a token, an NFT, and then that appreciates in value. So that's essentially what people do. You make a game, people will come and people will buy stuff with real money in our game, and then that NFT will increase in value, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's essentially what it is.
So I'm going to give you another example, right? So say we pick up any game, say you pick up a runner game, right? So as a gamer, so I go in there and I spend my real dollars buying a character that was supposed to be limited, right? And then I buy it, and then after a year or so, they just give the same skin for free to everyone, right? But as a owner that who had that skin and who bought it for with real money, I'm going to feel a little betrayed, right? I mean, this would have happened to a lot of people who are being in the gaming space already. Sometimes the service goes off, and sometimes the game is not even there. You must have already spent some amount of money already invested in the game, right? So what if the character that you have is limited or unique to only you? Right now gamers are interested because they like to show off what they already have. It's like buying an art, right? So the art that you buy is sort of unique. The artist only drew one copy of it and you own it. So that adds actual value to that, right? So this is what actually happens in the game economy, right? When NFT and blockchaining are integrated to an existing games that you've already been buying and investing our money inside that game. I wouldn't say investing, spending money inside the game, right? You're investing also your time. So in this case, there's something actually of some value tied to it. There's a real economy to it. So you can go and say, this is NFT, this is a unique character only for me, right? I can sell it, trade it later on, but if the platform allows it. So that's exactly what's happening. Everybody's trying to create a trading platform and a buying platform for NFTs during this time. So what they can do and provide these NFTs to thrive inside the platform is what they can buy games inside or license games inside or create their own games inside. So that's where we developers all thrive, right? All of a sudden, there's this huge spike of requirement for game developers. All these big companies are already throwing so much money and they want to get inside the space. And the only gateway or the familiar gateway for the people right now is either art or games. So that's why you see a huge requirement for game developers all of a sudden. So I think we can all ride this wave, get inside the industry, work the games that we want to make, and probably license to any of these platforms, right? So, did any platform win at this point? Not really. They're all different islands trying to sell their currency and want their currency to be accepted. So it will take a year or two, or even more than that, for
Right.
the dust to
So
settle
even
and
if, so
one
for
platform to
example,
thrive.
even if you're playing a game which is tied to Ethereum, right? Because I know Axie Infinity is tied to Ethereum. So what happens? You're playing Axie Infinity, and you have an NFT in there which you bought for X, and now it's
Yep.
10x or 100x, and it's a lot of value. What then? Can that help you to pay your rent?
Not right now. So that's the thing. Not right now. Only some cases, some islands, sort of. I'm not sure entirely what's the actual stock or business Wall Street thingy happens in the back
Right.
end.
So one second. So the Axie. So there's Ethereum, which is the parent currency, and then you have the Axie currency. Can you even go from the Axie currency to Ethereum?
Yes, you can.
You can.
If
Okay.
if the platform allows you. So
Okay.
right now, these guys are islands, right? So this value is inside. If tomorrow, if the other island says that we accept your currency, right? That's when the actual trade sort of happens. So in that case, I think you can take the real Ethereum, probably take it to Singapore and ask them to convert it to Singapore dollars, and then you can convert that Singapore dollars and bring it back to India with real money. So that's the entire circle that happens.
Right.
So most of the governments at this point are still not understanding the entire thing, because they need to see what's actually going on. These gamers are going nuts, and these artists are trying to go nuts selling monkey pictures on the internet, and they're calling it $1 million, right? So 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 governments are pretty confused at this point, and the moment that they hear blockchaining and database not being with them, they're pretty paranoid. They're
Whoa.
pretty paranoid. So the private companies, big companies are trying to step inside, and they say, no, 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 this is all fine. Okay. This is the new Web3. We need to adopt this. Like, then no need to be a centralized servers anymore. Right. And they sort of blame it on Google, saying that they control a lot of traffic and this needs to be distributed. And those kind of politics usually
Yeah.
happen,
And
right?
then Mark Zuckerberg comes in and he drops a bomb. So let's talk about
Metaverse.
ta-da.
Fanciest metaverse.
Yeah.
So metaverse, in my honesty, is literally nothing new. So this has been there for a while. If you have already played World of Warcraft Second Life, you already know it's a virtual place where you create an avatar, roam around the city or roam around that world, meet other people and interact. So we already know how that's going on with Facebook, right? It ends up with political debates. So you need
Yeah.
to like create avatars that have political debates in a virtual space. So that's the end product that they're planning to do, I suppose. So this is not something new, right? So this thing has already been there. So this is a huge multiplayer world, and World of Warcraft, you sort of join with your friends, do some quest, all of the stuff, right? And as you already know, Roblox was already there. Minecraft, on the other hand, sort of gives you this entire open world, which is procedurally generated every time. So as long as the users or the server is alive, that world is just going to get explodingly big. But there are like few fundamental problems with this, with metaverse at least. If you're going to make it, say, a GTA world that's virtual. You can go inside and start buying assets. You can go and walk into a store or a hair thingy place. You can cut your hair for a virtual avatar. And all of this happens. And this is where they're trying to tie in that entire thing of cryptocurrency. This virtual world has virtual currency, and that would be probably tied to an NFT of some sort. So that's the all the moving part that's been happening right now. So this metaverse, I think it's one of those jargons that being just thrown out just for the sake of it, right?
Yeah, like you want to
So
impress someone, you start talking about the metaverse and be like,
yeah.
oh, you know about the metaverse? Oh, really? I have some money. You want my money?
So I think yesterday somebody called me and they told, what is, they asked me, they're like, what is this metaverse? I think two people are going to get married in the metaverse for the first time here in Chennai. And I was like, that's nothing. That's like having a Zoom call, but having an emoji on your face and then saying, I do, right? And other guys are on the same Zoom call. So instead of having a Zoom call, they're going to wear a VR headset, right? So they're finding different ways to hype this thing up. But as developers or gamers, we should sort of see what it is and as it is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So are we benefited by any of this? 100% yes.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
So the companies are going to go batshit crazy over this stuff. They're going to keep hiring game developers. They want world creators. They want artists right
Yeah, but
away.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's a bubble,
Yep.
right? It's a bubble that
Bubble.
it's just like it's the bubble is expanding, and you know what happens with bubbles, right? So that's something to be aware of.
Yep. So this is not the first time that crypto bubble has exploded. I think this is the third time the Bitcoin value dropped drastically down and then it'll go up. Right now, all the cryptocurrencies are in the downward spiral.
Yeah,
Right?
because the other day I was watching this video, and there are some really big crypto games coming out this year.
Yep.
Okay, like as in AAA, and it's all these guys who used to work at Rockstar, Ubisoft, etc. All these guys who quit, got VC funding, and there are some really big games coming out there, like these open world games,
Yep.
amazing games coming out, and those are big bets. Okay,
Yep.
apparently this 2022 is the year that a whole bunch of these games. There's already Axie Infinity, and there are a couple of others. I think there's an Alien something. So these games are going to be coming out this year. So I think 2022 is going to be a defining year. If it like if
Cryptocurrency games. Yep.
yeah, like if it's going to make it or it's going to break it. I think this year is really going to be big.
I think this is sort of the future, but I think as long as the big government guys recognize any of these cryptocurrencies as gateway and actually have trade based of that, I think this will be one of those things that still exist on one of those islands, and the rest of the world will be here. I mean, gamers would probably get benefited somehow trading NFT, and that thing has been happening even before NFT or cryptocurrency came to the picture, right? So in that regard, I think it will be like an art, right? The art value just suddenly increases, so an artist gets incredibly rich all of a sudden, right? So that things do happen. Like I think in New York, I think one blank canvas alone was sold for $1 million. So these things happen, right? Just because somebody sold a blank canvas, you can't be just running around trying to sell your blank canvas,
Canvas.
right?
Yeah.
So these things are sort of arbitrary in different circumstances. So coming back to the meta universe right now. So this is the entire thing, blockchaining, metaverse that's been floating around with games, and Second Life 2.0.
So is it fair to say that the metaverse is basically essentially hopefully a place where all the islands will live together in harmony and
No, people are going to start their own metaverses. Okay, so
okay.
Roblox is already a metaverse by itself.
But here's the thing, like search engines, right? Everybody's going to start their own search engine. Then there's going to be lots of competition. 15 years ago, people have said, oh, yeah, I'm sure you have lots of search engines. But now
we have Google. So
that's it. They kill everybody.
Exactly.
So the
So,
thing is, Facebook has the power
yep.
to kill
I,
everybody.
I mean, you can't call it Facebook anymore. You have to call it
Yeah,
Meta.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
Meta
Meta. So Meta is betting a huge deal of amount of money in this regard,
that
and
they have.
that they have. I mean, they already have that money, so they're sort of betting on this one at this point. But I don't know if you guys heard that that keynote when it actually Mark Zuckerberg introduced Metaverse. If you have waited enough to see what John Carmack was actually telling about it. John Carmack, if you do not know, is a complete legend. He basically created or sort of set path through 3D game engines. 3D game
Yep.
engines, he basically created. If you have played Wolfenstein as a kid or
Quake.
Doom, that guy did it basically. This guy is a self-taught rocket scientist. Okay, so he makes rocket for hobbies. So he's a super genius guy. So he left ID Software and then joined Meta. Back then, it was called Facebook. He joined it, and he is actually running the entire VR department there, Oculus Rift, right? So, since so much money is actually invested, when people ask John Carmack, "Do you actually see a metaverse to be a real thing?" His answer was more of like, it can happen. So after Mark Zuckerberg hyped it so much, John Carmack sort of dropped the ball saying that it might happen, right? So there's a fundamental problem of VR sets being accessible to the public. Even if metaverse, the virtual reality world seems to be a huge hit, right? The hardware is just not accessible for any of a normal consumer. No one would probably spend like 50K on their VR headsets and also have GPUs, which is incredibly ridiculously priced because of the chip shortage at this point. And they are looking at somewhere between 3 to 4 lakhs of actual money to get inside a virtual environment, right? And
Right.
also this hardware is still in under R&D phase at this point. So other competing companies are there. The HTC Vive is there. You got Oculus Rift, and you got PlayStation, Sony also investing. So all of these guys are trying out a different method of approaching VR. So first, this round needs to be completed, and then people start a bunch of metaverses. Probably people will just play with mouse and keyboard, I think, exploring, just like Sims or World of Warcraft at this point.
Yeah.
So we have to, unless and until this dust settles, right, we do not know who is the actual winner. At this point, Web3 is complete wild west.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah.
if you had to guess, like if you had to guess, when do you think the dust is going to settle? Like when is there going to be a clear winner? Like, either boom or bust. Like if you had to say, okay, uh, you know, take a guess as to when
2022
things
is
will
going to
kind
be
of.
very interesting, right? It threw us a lot of surprises, even from 2020. A lot of surprising stuff has happened, even in the entire tech space. The great leaders from Intel was shocked, and you have AMD sort of taking over, and Apple coming out with their ARM processors. Suddenly, we have a chip shortage with GPUs. So we really don't know what will affect or cascade stuff that will completely change. So hoping that the pandemic comes to an end, right? Hoping the pandemic comes to an end and there is no chip shortage, every shipment is fine and settled. I think the dust would probably settle within a year or two. So we will,
2024, baby, 2024.
yes, 2024 by 2023, I think the dust would settle. Till then, as developers,
We're going to be
we're
sitting with
going to
our
have a blast.
Josh coins on Island Josh, with our with our margaritas, with our
Yeah.
headsets. Yeah, 2024, baby. Okay.
We developers haven't felt this important since the 90s. So
Right?
that's a good sign. They're like, oh, you're a game developer. Can you make a game for my cryptocurrency right now? And like so many people are out there. I mean, who's funding you guys? Like, don't worry about the funds.
I
Like,
have a sari shop. Like my family owns a sari shop, and I have like 100 crores, and I want to invest in crypto gaming. Here.
yep. So that's exactly what's happening right now. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys have some understanding on actually what's going on.
That was
Um,
amazing. That was amazing, Josh. Because like, um, this stuff is, especially when it comes to video games, and there are so many sources of information talking about one particular thing, and you have to
most of
watch.
the information out there are biased, right? When
Yeah,
you go and try to search that, can I invest in cryptocurrency? And some guy in Quora would probably say, yes, you should. And then he gives a URL to
yeah.
his whatever
My
website,
mind is
right?
like, yeah, yeah.
So I think you have to start looking at unbiased information. I think they're out there, or they're already out there. Probably they would have explained it much better than what I have already done here. But I'm
Yeah,
saying
man,
like
because
this is a good discussion to
yeah,
have.
because honestly, the thing is, what happens is, even like I work for a big tech company, and everyone who's big, everyone who's worth $1 billion or more, some say, okay, crypto. They're allotting people saying, okay, this could be a scam, but this could be big. So here's a budget.
Yes.
Let's hire some crypto people. Let's start getting a project going on how we can integrate our technology, our platform with cryptocurrency, because nobody wants to be left out.
Yep.
They're like, okay, maybe it's a scam, but maybe it's going to work. So let's
Yep.
invest some money. Let's have a project. Let's have a team that's researching. Let's give like 5 or 10 or $20 million for this, and let's not miss the bus
Yep.
of crypto.
Yep.
Okay, so my advice to everybody is, don't be crazy, don't do crazy hype, but just be aware, inform yourself about the space, about these games, and try
It's
to
just like
play some
stocks.
game.
It's just like stocks. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
just go and like throw all your money in stocks, right?
yeah, but
So,
especially, here's the thing, I think that like crypto gaming, if you can actually earn money by playing video games, right?
that
Like if
already
you can,
happens. Like
yeah,
real
yeah.
money gaming is already a thing. You
I
get
know, but
actual INR playing the
yeah,
game.
but
Right?
true, but we are tantalizingly close to be able to pay your rent by playing video games. Like that is, at least in theory, soon that could be a possibility. And that is huge,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's going to be a gamer. Everybody, do you know what I
I
mean?
mean, I think gaming thing would be a platformer. You couldn't call them a gamer, right? Like
Right.
when the
Yeah.
metaverse sort of comes in, you wouldn't call you. I mean, I can't be that rude. Anyways, you can't call a Minecraft player a gamer. I just wanted to say that, but I'm just saying it's a sandbox. You just go and play. You just
Just
mess
hang
around
out,
in that space, right?
Yeah.
So it could be something like that. So we can call them gamers. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude here. I mean, when the casual game thing first comes in, all the FPS players were saying that those are not real games.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
yeah.
play Candy Crush and say call yourself a gamer, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you can be a gamer as well. So I'm just saying that the word gamer is going to get more diluted
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
coming years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think there will be another term saying that we are all meta humans inside this one, and that name is already taken by Unreal for some weird reason.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll
Interesting.
see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Awesome. So now that Easter egg that
Yeah.
I promised our viewers, crypto gaming. If you want to work in crypto gaming, or if you want to get a job in this space, what advice would you give people? If this space takes off, like if cryptocurrency gaming takes off, what kind of people are going to be running the show when it comes to a technical skill?
Okay, so this entire thing, right? This meta universe and everything, they need to have bunch of servers. So Meta has this thing of they can spare a bunch of servers there. So that means when it comes to servers, all of this virtual people and virtual money needs to be inside a couple of servers. So what kind of developers that they will probably be looking for is a multiplayer developer. You need to know a lot of multiplayer games, how the concept of multiplayers and how their service works, how a client authoritative works or an authoritative server works, all those stuff. And the second developers that's going to sort of benefit is for game developers is business as usual, right? You already been creating games and you already create sort of economy where you buy coins and those stuff. But in this regard, I think all of this new Ethereum and all this stuff, right? This comes under what can I say? Bunch of web DevOps stuff. So you need to understand what DevOps is. So you need to also understand how an API works is. So because you need to communicate with all of this blockchaining frameworks that you need to understand. So if you are also happen to be a full stack developer or somebody who understands database, web tech, and plus you have gaming knowledge or a game developer, I think that's going to be the king, right? So these guys are going to be high demand. So I mean, few years back, 4 years back, we didn't even know what a full stack developer was. Right now, full stack developers are the highest in requirement. We didn't even know what a data analyst was or a data scientist was, right? Right now, they are in high demand. So if there's a title that's supposed to come in the future, right? They'll probably say crypto developer or crypto game developer. I'm just thinking out loud. Those would be the
Crypto
possible
dev.
titles. Yeah,
Crypto
crypto
dev.
dev or something like that. So crypto game developers would be probably the guys who understand Web3 tech, Web3 frameworks, and also game development economy, right? So these guys would be the probably high demand. And the second one would be, as usual, multiplayer. A multiplayer developer in any given day is on high demand, because these guys need to understand how web app works, networking, and also need to understand how game design works. So I think this would be the highest demand in the coming 2 years.
That's a great insight. So for you guys watching, Josh and I, this is the first podcast. We've been talking about it for a long time. We should totally have a podcast. So Josh and I, hopefully once a month, we're going to do this. And if you guys have requests, if you guys have something, you guys have comments about this podcast, or you have anything you want us to discuss when it comes to tech, when it comes to video games, whatever, do let us know in the comments. Okay. So thanks a ton,
No
Josh.
worries,
I
man.
really
It's been
appreciate it.
fun.
It was so nice to hang out.
Yeah, J2M Discord channel is also like sort of buzzing. I think this question came up a couple of times in the discussions.
Yeah. Also, Josh is for everyone who's watching, make sure you join the Gamer2maker Discord server. Josh is on there, and Josh is also a mentor for the Gamer2maker Game Design and Production course. He's one of the programming mentors, and if you hang out on the server, you ask your questions. It's possible sometimes when Josh is a bit bored, he's got nothing to do, he comes and he answers a bunch of questions in an awesome way. I will see you guys, and I will see you, Josh, on the Gamer2maker Discord server. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for taking
guys.
time.
Have fun.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Take care.